It is Tuesday, December 13th, year 2016. You are listening to the world's #1 rated podcast on iTunes that is specifically about amateur sports and beer and has two people from Chicago and some from Jersey. My name is Brett. I'd like to welcome you to the show. I have two people with me tonight that are normally part of our panel. From what Jeff likes to say is the City of Champions, I have Sean.
What's happening, host?
Nothing. I'm trying to figure all this out. I'm like staring at 7 things at once. Welcoming back to the podcast after his inauguration last week, our NBA expert, we have Johnny.
Hello.
What's going on, buddy? Hello.
Just hanging in there.
And joining us late, surprise, we're very excited to have him aboard from Whippany, about 3 miles down the road from me. I have Paul.
Yo, I made it, so that's a win.
I'm happy to have you here. We're happy to have you here. All right. Tonight, we are going to do a little NFL action. We're going to break down the NBA. John's going to do it as always. Sean's going to have some college football awards coming out towards the end of the show. But for right now, let's give our first. Oh, no, wait. No, we're not doing that tonight. Fuck the rules. We got something new. New first segment coming in hot tonight. Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's go, man. Start us off.
Yeah, without Cove here, we're gonna change it up. No rules, no supervision. So this segment is new. I was thinking about it because John and I tend to talk a good bit over Twitter. We're trying to get it pretty good at Twitter. His Rabbi Rebound. So this segment is called Rabbi Rebounds. I'm going to shoot him some live Twitter lines, and he's going to give us his reply, 140 characters or less, to these headlines.
Unscripted.
Unscripted. Raw. When Jeff's not here, we do it raw.
We do.
So, all right.
You ready for podcast?
I wish I had some intro music, but let's just say I hit the intro music right there. So
all right. So I'm on the tweets. All right, Johnny, you ready for your first one?
Yeah, off the cuff.
All right. At Dan Murphy ESPN writes, Jim Harbaugh told Michigan players yesterday that rumors about the NFL are, quote, lies made up by our enemies. What's your reply, John?
I think that he can never leave Ann Arbor, number one, until he leaves the national championship. Maybe. But number two, he can't leave until he beats.
All right, you're out of characters. You're out of characters.
140.
Next one.
He needs to beat the Buckeyes before he ever leaves.
Okay. On to the next one. At In Mets We Trust. Right up your alley, bud. On this date in 1984, the Mets acquired Gary Carter from the Expos. What's your reply? 140 characters.
It was a great trade, and it was better than the Nolan Ryan trade when they got back Jim Fregosi.
Okay.
It's going strong right now. We're killing it.
I don't know if I know that one. But
Give me to Gary Carter. Come on, man. The kid.
No, yeah, definitely the best trade in Mets history.
That was a good trade. And I got 140 characters. I mean, I'm long-winded.
Yeah, you got to go.
I'm in the Windy City.
Yep. All right. This one was from Bleacher Report, and it's actually a photo, so it's a little bit of a cheat on the Twitter. But this is in regard to Richard Sherman and what he was quoted saying in response to the NFL scheduling Thursday night games. The quote is, "Poop fest. It's terrible, but they've been doing it all season, so I guess we're the last ones to get the middle finger."
Thursday night football, so the owners could get paid. The last thing they care about is the players. Players don't get paid enough, and the owners are doing everything they can to get paid more. I think Richard Sherman's correct.
Okay. I thought these would be a lot funnier. I got to be honest with you.
When you pitched the idea, it sounded awesome. You know, I was like, yes,
Yeah,
this is great. Let's do
John's
this.
going
give-
serious.
well,
I thought,
Yeah, I mean, we got 140 characters is tough, you know.
well, that and you always tag John Kruk.
Oh yeah,
In
we
whatever
could do
you reply
We
to.
could do hashtag. Let's do a hashtag. What would my hashtag be?
All right. At Baltimore Ravens. This just happened. We have waived wide receiver return specialist Devin Hester.
Whoa. I didn't know Devin Hester was still in the NFL.
Yes.
Perfect. End your tweet. End your tweet. End your tweet.
Hashtag John
all right.
Crook.
Hashtag John Kruk.
All right, that worked out pretty
All
well.
right,
That was a pretty solid segment.
I think it kind of flopped.
I like
to
it.
be
I
honest.
think it has potential. I think it has direction. So
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do some more rabbi rebounds another day.
yeah, look for
Not
look
today.
for more
Concept is really
Rabbi
We're
good.
done.
I thought it was great, man. So great opening segment. Now I'm gonna hit more music.
I need
All right,
1,040 characters.
we're gonna move on now. We're gonna talk a little.
That's a blog.
We're gonna talk a little NFL. Obviously, we're gonna go into some local action, Jets and Giants from this past week. We'll see what else we decide to get into. But as our Paul, I didn't plan on having you aboard for this segment, so I'm actually really glad that you're here. I kind of wanted to start off with the epic matchup of the New York Jets against that powerhouse of a team, the San Francisco 49ers. It was, just another classic between two storied franchises. Talk to me a little bit about the game, about your feelings as a fan right now at the state that your team is in. Give us a little Jets perspective.
It just seemed like neither team wanted to win. The Niners were doing whatever they wanted early in the game. Carlos Hyde had like 9,000 yards in the first quarter.
I felt like every time they handed him the ball, 25 yards.
Easy. He was averaging like 20 yards a carry in the first half.
That's insane.
It's insane. But, true to form, the Niners they're terrible too. And, being a Jets fan, you don't want them to win that game, but God, the Niners just gave it to them. Backup quarterback, really your third string quarterback in the game. No Forte, Decker's out. Marshall's been non-existent for the past couple of weeks. So, I don't really know how they won, and I watched the whole game, but God, as a fan, you just don't even want to see that W on the board, because now you're just screwing up your draft pick. And I know it may not turn out to move them down too far in the draft, but they had so many pieces they need to fill that.
All right, I heard this. Listen to this. I heard this today, and I thought it was a radical idea, but kind of brilliant at the same time. Somebody proposed, and I don't know who, that the Jets just draft a quarterback in every round.
That's not their only. That's not their only need, though. Like, that line sucks.
It's not. You're right.
I mean,
No,
I know
right.
Yampo's not here, so I'll jump on the offensive line bandwagon this week. Their line is terrible. Mangold's hurt. DeBrickashaw retiring. Bruno Giacomini holds every play. They're just awful.
Yeah, that is definitely another weak. They have a lot of weaknesses. You're right.
It's amazing how since when we were kids, late 80s, early 90s, that they still have the same personality today. Same exact team. Totally run franchise. They
A
make
steaming
decisions
pile
based
of
on
shit.
yeah, they make decisions based on what the upper management thinks is best to appease to the media. They're a joke.
They're all about back pages, and they always have been.
But Bilal Powell, where'd he come from?
Yeah, a great game, Bilal Powell. They threw a bunch of money at him in the offseason to keep him there. So I'm surprised he didn't get as much burn earlier in the season. But Forte going down, and God, who didn't see that coming? They're giving him a 31-year-old running back 20, 25 touches a week. Bilal Powell looked fresh. I mean, the one bright spot. I mean, in a season of crappiness.
I was at the Kentucky Derby this year, and I'm hanging out with my friend, and he was wearing white leather, pure white leather Ferragamos. And
Your friend was?
Yeah, and then a guy comes over and says, "Hey, could I ask you where you got those shoes?" And he told him, and I said, "Hey, by the way, I'm John. Nice to meet you. What's your name?" He goes, "Bilal." I said, "Bilal?" He goes, "I play for the New York Jets. I'm a running back." I had no idea, but he went to Louisville, so he was down in Kentucky at the Derby. Really, really nice guy.
This game reminded me of the scene in Step Brothers where the like two losers just beat the hell out of each other and then fall over in the front yard and
Fall
they don't know
asleep.
what to do and fall asleep.
It'd be so funny if like neither the Jets or Niners came out after halftime because they both just fell asleep in the locker room.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
No, yeah,
jeez.
it was. I don't know. Paul, last thing before we move on.
Just don't make me
Jets-wise.
talk about the Jets anymore. God damn it.
That's why I'm going last thing.
I was at the Monday night game. Like I've had a rough couple weeks.
Yeah, that was a beatdown too. All right, so that correlates into this. So, as a fan, like, are you really even rooting for them to win anymore? Because the worst thing you could be in this league is like
mediocre.
7-9. Yeah,
Right.
So, like, how do you feel, man? Like, I can't imagine.
You want to see them be competitive. You want to see what Petty has, right? Because you don't want to draft 7 quarterbacks next year. So if Petty's competitive in the next couple games, they have the Dolphins this week. They play the Patriots and the Bills, so they have division games. If he can step up against those teams, then I wouldn't mind seeing him win a couple games. But you're jockeying for a good draft spot. Just lose. Show some promise and lose. Find a way to lose the game, or just package Sheldon Richardson and move up the draft board. That's what I do at this point.
I like the one thing in baseball that they do is like when the team's out of it late in the season, they play the kids because there's really no incentive. It's just like to see what you have that's young to get better, and I think that's kind of part of what the Jets. I don't know. Maybe one day someone in management will figure that out. I have no clue. So let's move on from the Jets. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Wait, can I ask one more question? Do you think
Yeah.
they'll keep Bowles?
Do I think the what?
Do you think they'll keep Todd Bowles?
I think they will. He hasn't really shown anything to kind of make you believe that next year is going to be any different, but I don't think management will want to dump him after 2 years.
I think you're right there, Paul.
I think Chan Gailey needs to go.
Somebody needs to lose their job, though, right?
Well, last year the Lions wanted to fire their coach, and then look at them this year. They're 9-4 now.
Yeah.
And they were terrible
Right.
last year.
And
Maybe
look at the
it's not
Bears
always
who
coach. Sometimes you just have bad players. They just if they draft bad players and they just come on to continuously move up on the draft to draft more bad players, it's a
Yeah.
recipe for disaster. I don't know if any coach could turn this team around. Maybe Belichick. I think Belichick could probably turn the team around. But other than that, I don't know if there's a human being on
Well,
the
Bill
planet.
Belichick couldn't do it in one day as the Jets coach, so I doubt that.
I think Belichick would find a way to maximize their potential, but I don't think they're very good. I don't think he'd win a lot of games with them, like significantly more than what they are now. If they're a 5-11 team, let's just say, I think he might get 7 or 8 wins out of them best. They're just not very good. There's a lot of holes, like Paul said. And that's the GM's fault. So maybe McCagnon's gone. I don't know. All right, moving up to the top of that division. New England had a nice win last night over the Baltimore Ravens in a game that the scoreboard probably showed was a little closer than it should have been, but it was a game that I thought the Pats kind of dominated, especially in the first half. Great game out of Brady again, and the Pats got a little help this week by the Chiefs beating the Raiders on Thursday night and by the Titans taking down the Broncos, which was a big win for them. I'm continued to be impressed by Mariota, but we had a play in this game, and I know Johnny, you were talking about it before we went on air. We had a play in this game with Aqib Talib Walk us through that. Walk me through your feelings on what happened.
Well, I just saw the highlight, but I saw what's his name? Harry Douglas, who's by the way, his brother used to play for the Knicks, Tony Douglas. And Harry Douglas was a wide receiver on the Falcons, and he's been in the league for a while. I looked up his career earnings, and it's over 13, 14 million. So he's had a decent career. But apparently there's a legal play where you could cut a guy on a block, where you could dive at his front knees as long as he's facing you. And
it looks so dirty when you look at it.
Yeah, it's a legal play, and Harry Douglas was saying, well, if you watch the film, which you probably didn't watch the film, you'll notice that I do that on blocks. But anyway, he dove at this guy's knee. They thought it was an ACL tear. It wasn't. But the guy was down on the ground, and then Aqib Talib went nuts and attacked him on the next play. Yeah. They have the same agent, and Aqib Talib said he was going to kick his ass after the game. My thought on the play is just in sports in general, it was an unfair play. You don't go after a guy's knees, especially when you're doing the guy's livelihoods. You could end the guy's career. I mean, there's so much money on the line. It was an unnecessary play.
Do you know what the rule is? I don't know what the actual rule is that says that that's legal. Because like when you watch it, you're like, oh, there's a person blatantly diving at another man's knees. So like, I just don't know what the rule is. It'd be good to get some clarification on that.
Yeah, I think the dirty part of it was that it wasn't in the context of the play. The play, who's like behind the play. It was just stupid. It just looked bad. Sean, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say opposite side of the field. Nothing's going on in that play where he needs to even come close to that. I don't know why you do it. I have no problem with Talib laying down the law. That's what you do for your boy on in that circumstance. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
I agree. I don't think Talib should have protected his teammate at that point, but maybe you go back and have someone else who's not Aqib Talib, like a top 5 piece of crap in the NFL, go after him. I don't know. He did fire a gun at someone and actually shot himself last year, right?
Yeah, he's got some issues there.
The problem with the NFL, when you take a look at these fines, like there's some guys that are in their first pro game, they're making $300,000-400,000, and then they make a stupid play or they celebrate with a teammate in the end zone, and they get fined $25,000. I mean, that's a lot of money to a lot of these guys because look, there's really only 20, 25 guys that are making a lot of money on these pro rosters. These guys do one stupid thing on the field. I mean, they get massive fines. The NFL has to. I actually think that, I know I'm getting off topic here, but I think the NFL has to start paying these guys more. It's not fair.
You think they
pay them more?
I think they got to pay. There's so many guys on these rosters that just don't get paid, and then they. I just think that there's more money to go around. You see the guys in the NBA getting massive contracts.
The NBA is ridiculous.
Major League Baseball getting massive. The NFL is the most profitable league, and the players get screwed. They only pay the left tackle, the best wide receiver, the cornerback. They pay 4 positions, and every other position is
all in like fake money too. They're like they signed him to a gazillion-dollar deal, $4 million, which is guaranteed.
Look, Garrett Blount is making $1 million this year. He's the second best running back in the NFL.
Because he bought into the Patriot way.
God bless.
Yeah, I mean that's the deal he also agreed to when he was not, in the greatest of standing within the NFL. I don't think they should get paid more, but I don't mind the whole like guaranteed money thing like the other leagues. But I want to go back to what you said earlier about the fine. That really bothers me. That a celebration fine you can get $25,000. However, a cheap shot like that is somehow still within bounds. That's bullshit.
I agree.
All right.
Of course.
I don't want to.
We only agree on the show. We can't disagree.
I don't want to agree because I think that agreeing will lower our ratings, and I'm all about higher ratings. So.
All right. Well,
I heard we banned Snow Angels.
I'm glad we all agree. I'm glad this is happy and fun time. Let's move on, and we'll talk Giants football because here in town in New York, this was a huge weekend. These two teams, hated rivals. Obviously, Dallas coming in at 11-1 winners of 11 straight. Last loss, oddly enough, against the Giants on opening night. And this game in the Meadowlands, or in MetLife Stadium, the Giants somehow once again find a way to win, and they do it through that $200 million defense. Continues to impress each week. I didn't necessarily think that the Giants offensively are qualified to be beating teams like this, but I thought Eli almost threw a certain pick six towards the end of the game that was dropped. I just am not impressed. They don't click on all cylinders. So it's tough for me to see them as an elite team in the NFL, but this is normally how the Giants roll once they start. Once the weather starts turning, it comes December and playoff time, they really start to bear down and play their best football. So for teams in the NFC, they're certainly a scary prospect to face going forward. And it was overall a good win against a good opponent. So I look to the Giants to be a real force coming up soon, but I worry about what the Cowboys' direction is. There's a lot of debate now. Well, what if Dak comes out and plays poorly next week? Then what are you going to do going forward? And I know discussing us beforehand, pre-show, we kind of went over that prospect. And you, Johnny, you had some interesting thoughts about it. Maybe what would they call them? A hot take. You have a hot take on this subject.
Yeah, I know. All I could say as a Giants fan, I was almost similar to when Eagles fans wanted Donovan McNabb off the team and they finally got rid of him. As a Giants fan, I was thrilled because he was just a giant killer. And the same thing with Tony Romo. I mean, he's destroyed the Giants for the last 10 years. I think Dez Bryant becomes a better player. Dez Bryant, with 3 games left in the season, has 644 yards receiving. When healthy, he averages about 1,300 yards receiving. So I think that you turn Dez into a bigger threat. I just think it opens up the field and you're less predictable. I think defenses are now prepared for Dez's style of play. It's very predictable. I think he's going to be a very, very good player, but I think they have a lot better chance of making it to the Super Bowl with Tony Romo. I say that as a Giants fan. I would have been terrified if they put Tony Romo into the game with a minute left in the game the other night. I've seen that guy march 90 yards downfield with 50 seconds left in the game. So if he loses, if they lose again coming up, I could definitely. I think that we're anticipating sports talk radio shows. This becoming a hot topic. And
I think that might
You
be
heard it here first.
Hey, Brett,
think
You
that
heard
might
it
be-
here first.
hot take, Brett. I disagree.
As do I, but I'll let you go ahead. Why do you disagree?
Well, I think even though Dak's a rookie, I do think he brings a different dynamic to the offense. You don't really have to worry too much about Tony Romo scrambling at this point of his career. So I think Dak's mobility, his ability to get outside the pocket. Hey, Yampo.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to the show, resident Giants fan. David
Adi showed up just then.
from I guess his car. I don't know.
Hey, we're mobile. We are a totally mobile podcast.
He actually sounds like he's calling in.
Yes,
This is
he's
great.
like a caller.
We've got our first
We got-
caller.
We got
Yeah,
Dave from the
we've got
car.
our first-
Dave.
Yeah, this is Dave, longtime listener, first-time caller.
Womp womp. Womp womp.
John, I want to ask you, are you smoking, and can I get some?
Prank caller. Somebody hang up on him.
Yeah, seriously.
Can we mute that?
Yeah.
You're stupid, Francesa.
Paul.
You gonna defend yourself there, Dave?
Am I going to defend myself? Listen, I think that I told you last week. I said last week on the podcast when I wasn't in my car that the Giants were going to show up this week because that's what they do. They show up when they're not supposed to show up, and they don't show up when they're supposed to show up. I'm not shocked. I knew this was going to happen. I was surprised that it was a 10-7 game. I think the defense played phenomenal. What's really disappointing to me is that with 6.5 minutes left to go, the Giants get the ball and you'd like to see that team try and close the game out. Go win the game, right? Eli, go win the game. But Ben McAdoo calls 2 draws out of 3 plays, and they punt. Okay, I'll live with that. But then what happens? They get the ball back again, and they do the same thing. I just think there's a little bit of we don't trust Eli happening, and that makes me nervous because if you don't trust Eli and you don't have a running game, we're nothing better than a one and done in the playoffs.
What does that have to do with Tony Romo?
Well, Tony Romo has nothing to do with anything because he's not playing. So, John, in Chicago, you're out of line. Like, Tony Romo, he stinks. He stinks. He's not even playing. He got benched by a rookie.
Well, he was hurt, but this is on recording, so we're going to be able to come back when he does play the last 2 weeks of the season.
He's not coming back. He's not coming back.
Hey, but I'm a big Giants fan. Did you hear Eli saying "Cinco Gold Dynamite" when he was behind center?
At the line?
Yeah.
I just saw the Eli face like 5 times during that game.
But you know it's coming. It's so predictable with what he does.
I didn't. What, you predicted he was going to lose the ball when he tried to throw it to a wide up against the end zone?
He throws the ball to the other team.
Infuriating.
I mean, he's been doing it for 3 years. He used to be the best 2-minute drive quarterback in football.
I derailed Paul
Used to
because
be.
Paul had some insight, and I derailed it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's gone.
No,
But you guys have to be happy with the Giants defense showing up. I mean, it was a pretty ugly game on both sides, but the defense kept you in it, and then the Giants have that X factor. Beckham can take a ball to the house at any time. So if that defense keeps you in the game and you break 1 or 2 big plays, I mean, it could.
I feel like that's
this is the first time. This is the first time, and I read this on ESPN. But this is one of the first times that like the free agent spending frenzy. We're bucking the trend. The Giants are bucking the trend. I mean, it doesn't typically work out when you spend all that money on all these free agents, but it's working out for the Giants on defense. I mean, their defense is vastly improved.
All right. Thank you, caller.
All right. Hey, thanks. Hey, guys, appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Okay, thanks. That was a
Call back.
call. Yeah, call back anytime, man. You're welcome on the show. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Patriots suck. All right.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye, my friend. Oh, boy.
What the hell just happened?
We had our first caller. I thought it went excellent. As much as I'd love to go back and touch on that Tony Romo thing, I think we can put a bow on the NFL and move on to our normal halftime beers. Nope, wait a minute. We're not doing that either. Fuck the rules. Being original. We're going right, skipping over this halftime segment. We're going right to the NBA right now. We are going to get back for a second week the white man's breakdown of the NBA. Johnny, take it away.
The Knicks hat is back on.
Yeah, it's a nice prop, but I got this about 2 years ago. It's my favorite hat. It has a nice inner lining, which keeps my head warm.
Looks warm, yeah.
So, the Knicks played the Lakers on Sunday night. Porzingis had 26 points, 7 blocks, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 steal. And he was the first player since 1983 to record 25 points, 10 rebounds, and have 7 blocks in a game.
Is he really having a good season?
He's having a good season. He's putting up 20 a game. He's got 7 rebounds a game, so he's doing pretty well.
Every week I'm hearing the exact opposite of what I heard the week before about him. So like 1 week they're like, he's really coming along nicely. And then the next week they're like, his development seems stunted right now. He really needs to step it up. And then the following week it's like, he's really coming along nicely. Is he truly in his second year coming along?
Well, I think the difference between, I talk about this with my friends that I talk about NBA a lot. And there's the word great's thrown around a lot. And I think very good describes Porzingis right now. Very good is when you do it 1 out of every 2 nights. Great is when you do it every night. He's very good. He has the ability to be great. I think he's going to be great one day, but right now he has a tough time doing that because he's passive towards Carmelo. So he lets Carmelo take control, and I think his first option is to try to get Carmelo his great shot, and then he looks for his shot. But until Carmelo leaves the team, gets traded, then he's just going to be very good. But until he takes over, then that's when we'll see how great he is. But this year he's doing decent. He scores 20 a game. I think if Carmelo wasn't on the team, he'd probably be averaging 25 points a game. But he's very good right now. He doesn't do it every night. Tonight they're playing the Suns. But by the way, but let me go back. The Knicks are 14-10, and they're 4 games back of the Cavs, which is very surprising. And they're 3 games back at Toronto. So the 3 games back at Toronto, which is important because that would get them lock in home court during the playoffs if they could get past Toronto for the Atlantic Division. But they're playing the Suns tonight, who are 7-17. Jeff Hornacek used to coach the Suns, so they should be extra motivated tonight. The Suns.
Let me pull a Yampo here. It looks like the Knicks are only favored by 2. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
I think over under 219.
I think over. I'm going with the theme tonight that the Knicks win big tonight because Jeff Hornacek used to coach them. He got fired by them. But it's not going to be a tough battle. The Suns are led by a guy named Alex Len, Lee Barbosa, and Brandon Knight. So my pun of the night is it's going to be a lot of Lenley nights in Phoenix at Talking Stick Arena during playoff time in May and June. Again, Alex Len, Lee Barbosa, and Brandon Knight. Lenley nights. A lot of Lenley nights during playoff time in Phoenix.
That was as good of pun as Rabbi Rebound.
And then,
not as good as the OPEC meeting. But.
that was the line of the show last week. That was amazing.
Well, I got another one coming actually.
All right.
Phil, and I only got 2 more minutes here, but Phil Jackson had a conversation with Carmelo in LA. He told him he holds on to the ball too long. And, I think that Phil Jackson has held on to Carmelo too long. I think that Carmelo should be traded. But anyway, Carmelo listened. He had 7 assists against the Lakers. He averages 3 assists per game, and he had 7 against the Lakers. So that could be a nice trend. Okay, on to Brooklyn. This is a brief one. And I have a question. This is a statement, but kind of a did you know. Did you know that convenience stores mostly sell turnovers? Obviously, a pastry. Apple turnovers, beef turnovers. So I'm going to call the Brooklyn Nets the Brooklyn convenience stores, and here's why. Because they have 17 turnovers per game. So they lead the NBA in turnovers. Put that in perspective. The Pistons have the least amount of turnovers per game, and they average 11 per game. So the Brooklyn convenience stores, if you want some turnovers, go to Barclays Arena. Check out the 6-17 Nets. They're 5.5 out of the playoffs, and they have no shot. The good news is that Jeremy Lin is back, and let's just say that shouldn't be too big of a tailwind for them. So that's my update on the Knicks and the Nets, and I appreciate my time on the NBA. You guys have any questions? I will listen online.
Can we get more puns?
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. That was incredible. Then I want to. I know that we don't have a huge market for it, Johnny, but I want to talk the Nets for a second.
Yes,
a hot second. So yeah, Lin back now. That's fantastic. He's probably the only guy I know on the team. And considering they don't have draft picks until I think like 2020 or something like that, 2019 or 2020 for a first round draft pick. What's the prospect of this team? Am I in for a ride for the next like 3 years of just literally this is basketball where they win like 14 games tops a year?
Unfortunately, I think it's longer than that because the NBA is a star-driven league that they have no room in their salary cap. You look at the Knicks. Remember that Allen Houston contract that was signed in the late 90s? That handicapped them for. I mean, they're still handicapped by that contract and overpaying washed-up superstars, and that's what happened with the Nets when they traded for Garnett, Paul Pierce, and even Deron Williams was a terrible contract. They're
horrible.
The Nets are going to be in a tough spot for a long time, and unfortunately, that's the way the NBA is. There's no draft pick. There's no free agent that could save them. They can't even afford a free agent.
That's going to be a killer. My favorite day of the year, even though it's not basketball related, My favorite day of the year is the day that the Mets have to pay Bobby Bonilla $1 million every year. Because every time I look at that contract, it gets more and more fantastical. Like I laugh each year. I'm like, oh my God, they still have so much longer to pay him. And then the next year I look and it's like, this contract doesn't expire till 2087. And I'm like, wait, what? They have to pay him $1 million a year for like the next 80 years. It just gets longer and longer every single time I look.
I think he made more than Noah Syndergaard this year.
Yeah. There was a point like 3 or 4 years ago before the Mets made some signings where Bobby Bonilla was their highest paid outfielder.
Yeah. There was like at one point where they, I forget who. I guess maybe before they brought Cespedes over.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It had
All
to
right,
have been. I mean, that outfield 3 or 4 years ago was pathetic.
yeah.
I'm a Mets fan.
I just love contracts like that, and I hate them at the same time because they saddle and cripple franchises, and I guess that's what the Nets are kind of in right now. They're in that state where those. I didn't realize how bad the trade was for Pierce and Garnett, because when you just see it in the moment, you're like, oh, it's just some first round picks, like whatever, we'll get by that. You know, you're in win now mode. You have Darren Williams at the time. And then now you are, you know, you're years removed from that trade. You're years removed from any of those people being on your team, and you're still just in no position to improve. I guess that stinks. It's going to be a tough road.
It's a trade that makes Phil Jackson look like Red Auerbach.
Do we have
It's our second caller. Second caller.
Caller, who is this? I can't even hear.
Turn your radio down, caller.
Turn your radio.
Ira, is that you?
Welcome
This is Ira from Staten Island. You can't really make out my voice this week. I'm jumping on for about 2 seconds just to say hello to everybody.
Welcome to the program, Jeff. We miss you
Thanks, man.
today.
Thanks.
I am. Let me tell you this. I am doing a horrendous job hosting the show and moving the flow through. So we miss you. So come back soon.
Well, we will let all of our California listeners decide that fate. So
this is not in my future. I'm good for like a couple jokes here and there, but this is tough, man. Way tougher than I thought it would be.
At least you kept the format the same.
Yeah, I did do that. We did stick to the rules. So
what's that?
And you didn't curse. You didn't curse at all either.
Slow, boring, and out of touch. Format. You've kept to that format. That's good.
You'll be happy to learn I dropped 0 F-bombs.
That's good.
I heard one. I did hear one F-bomb.
Oh, no, there were 2. There were 2.
2, yeah.
All right, well, that's it for me, boys. I just wanted to say hello. Just give me a shout when you're out.
Okay, well, thanks.
All right, thank you, caller.
Drop by. All right. This is going so well. We're getting callers tonight. I'm loving it.
Cinco Gold Dynamite.
Hey, I do have a did you know that's not a pun, or at least a terrible one. The Bleacher Report sent something out today that said Sunday was the first time the Giants, Jets, Knicks, and Rangers all won on the same day.
Really?
First time ever.
Giants, Jets, Knicks, Rangers.
Yeah, the same day.
I almost don't believe that.
Wow.
I know.
Because I feel like there's a couple times a season, thanks to my local Dunkin' Donuts, I get $1 medium coffee anytime the Giants or Jets win. I feel like there were
the Giants. It's
yeah, it is usually the Giants. But I feel like there's.
Did you get one after the Super Bowls that you lost?
I don't know. They charge you double coffee that day. It sucks.
You want to see confusion at a coffee shop?
Sure.
Talk to the person at the cashier and ask him to put half ice in your coffee.
All right, I'll do it tomorrow.
Just do it. I do it every time because I have a sensitive tongue and I like to have my coffee at a certain temperature so I can drink it today. And when you ask the barista or the baristo or the barista bro to throw some cubes in your coffee, they look at you like perplexed, like you just asked them to solve a geometry equation.
I like the confidence in the order though. The confidence in the order is just like, hey, half ice.
Well, usually it's like, wait, so you want ice in your coffee? You want iced coffee? I'm like, no. I just want coffee. I want ice in my coffee, but I don't want iced coffee. And then I get an eye roll. Anyway,
because you're toting the line. You're like, I don't want hot coffee, but I don't want iced coffee either. Just give me.
I'll have a half iced coffee with my turnover.
Yeah.
I just say, listen, could you fill up my coffee cup? Could you fill it up to where it says America runs on Dunkin'? That's all I'm asking. And fill it up before you put the coffee in.
Do you have to get it in the hot coffee cup or in the cold coffee?
It's got to be in the hot coffee cup. It's
All
my
right.
thing. And then at Starbucks, I ask for kids temp.
Because of your sensitive tongue.
I have a sensitive tongue. There's going to be blisters all over my tongue. If I drink anything,
We
I don't have the patience. So if it's hot, if it's hot, I can't let it cool down. I just drink it before it gets cool, before it cools off. You know,
Guys, how the hell did we get to Dunkin' Donuts?
I'm like a hipster. I have to do everything before it's cool.
That's the best pun you've had all night.
including drinking my coffee.
That was great. All right, we are out of NBA and Dunkin' Donuts. I probably brought it up. I just don't even know how we got into it.
It came from the Sunday was the first time the Giants, Jets, Knicks, and Rangers have won.
Yep, and I somehow turned that into coffee. I was like, yeah,
Yep.
Great. Good job, Brett. Okay.
Mr. Cove.
Yeah, we do. Miss you big time, buddy. Come back.
Yamp, we could do without Yampo, but Cove is critical.
Yes. All right. Sean, you could bail me out here. Let's move on to our college football part of our show. We're going to kind of wrap up the season right now, I think is what you want to do. I understand you have some awards, some end of the year awards to give out.
Yeah. We here at the show were chatting, and the ESPN College Football Awards were on. They're pretty horrific. So I got to thinking that we should probably do one of our own. And it's also a nice segue into the fact that we have some new sponsors that have sponsored the awards. So I guess I'll just get right into it, and I'll read the award. I'll give you the finalists. If you feel like you want to chime in, go ahead. But ultimately, I decide who wins, so it doesn't really matter what you say.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Sound.
So,
Okay.
So the first award is sponsored by the Tiger Woods Hero Classic, the golf tournament, and it is the Letdown Team of the Year. The finalists are Ole Miss, Stanford, and Michigan State. Any comments?
Notre Dame.
There's only 3, but all right. The finalists are Stanford and Michigan State.
Go green.
All right.
I gotta. It is named after Tiger Woods for his alma mater. Stanford really was a bummer this year, man. I know the others really blew like badly, but Stanford had such high expectations, higher than Notre Dame, and they fell apart. And they had all the tools in the world to make that happen. They are my letdown team of the year.
Can I disagree? I feel like
No.
Notre Dame.
I told you straight up, no, these are mine.
Yeah, and I
actually
told you
did
we need
say
to
that.
disagree more.
I agree with Paul, Sean.
Stanford went 9-3. Like, that's not
they're
a
a disappointment. It's a
Bad, that's not
letdown.
a bad year. Notre Dame's. What the hell's Notre Dame's record? They win.
That
yet?
happened too early.
The spiral happened too early.
Sean,
Like,
I
they're-
think you're disappointed with Christian McCaffrey. You're not disappointed with Stanford.
yes.
Oh, back
No.
to Christian McCaffrey. He has to end up on the Patriots, right? So they can roll out a McCaffrey, Amendola,
Edelman.
Edelman, Hogan, Gronk set.
With Brady at quarterback. They're so racist.
He did declare.
Perfect.
All right. Moving on. This one's right up your alley, Paul. This is the Next Jet / Car Salesman Award. So this is the person that the Jets will draft. I actually thought Fast Bubs would be a good sponsor for this one, just because everyone he drafts becomes a car salesman.
It's terrible. Yes.
3 nominees, finalists for this award are Deshaun Kaiser, Mitch Trubisky, and Deshaun Watson.
Ah, man. Kaiser.
I think Trubisky goes to the Jets, and you guys will be awful, and he will become an encyclopedia salesman or something along those lines. He'll be working for Cutco in at least 3 years.
Will he be learning under Tony Romo?
Yeah, I think so. Unless he wins a Super Bowl this year.
That's true. Oh man.
Yep. The Disney's Pinocchio Not a Real Boy Award is for the athlete that is just a freak that you cannot explain. They're that good on the field, but they're not a real boy. Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Allen, Jabril Peppers, Adoree Jackson, and Myles Garrett are the nominees. And my
Peppers.
selection.
I love Peppers. Yeah, I'm with you.
Drum roll. Brett,
This is
your sound effects tonight.
Jonathan Allen from Alabama wins the Not a Real Boy Award. And this is, again, mine, so it doesn't matter what you say. But he plays like he has been in prison, and he is angry and big and destroys everything. He is not a real boy. The next award will go down to the definitely not Charlie Strong Coach of the Year award. And the nominees for that one are Mike McIntyre of Colorado, Chris Peterson of Washington, and James Franklin of Penn State. Any opinion on those boys, even though, again, it does not matter?
Nope.
Mike McIntyre of Colorado. He turned that program around. I really like what he did. Great coach. We'll see what happens next year. We'll see them in some bowl game activity, which has been a minute since they've been there. The next award will go to the Rogaine Coach's Hair of the Year award. This is something we've talked about on the show quite a bit in the professional sense, but shifting it to college, there are only two. One, Cliff Kingsbury, who is a dreamy son of a bitch from Texas Tech. And the opposite end of the spectrum is Dana Holgerson from West Virginia, who wears a visor with a very clear bald spot, but comb over long hair. And without a doubt, it's Cliff Kingsbury. That guy, he looks like Ryan Reynolds. He's got some great hair.
He does.
Dana is
got some great hair.
ridiculous, man. I don't know how Dana in good conscience goes out there every week.
Right? Like, just wear a hat.
Just wear a hat.
Just
Exactly.
wear a hat.
I don't know.
Or we've got some sponsors now. We can hook you up, Dana. We'll get you some Rogaine. I don't know why you go with the visor in that situation. It doesn't matter. You know who doesn't need to wear a hat? Cliff Kingsbury, because he's got great flow, and he looks like a dream. I was gonna do the Pedialyte Comeback Player of the Year. I don't think that's that funny anymore. I was gonna do the Zantac Heartburn Award, but we kind of talked about that with the crappy players. I do have one not college related, but it's specific to this show, and it's the Midol Cramping Our Style Award. And the finalists are Jeff Rasiopo, Jeff Coviello, and Dave Yampolsky.
Can you give it to all three?
Not even a nomination.
Well, Rass obviously wins.
Yeah, he does.
He cramped our style, man.
He
totally
wins
did.
everything, by the way.
That kid, yeah, has incredible luck. Sean, we play in a golf tournament every year with that kid, and he literally, like, he'll play the 50-50 at the end, and they'll get like 5 tickets. He wins like 3 prizes out of the 5. It's insane. We don't know how he does it. He's won tickets to the Masters, just like entering online. Very, very strange. He wins all the time. It's very annoying.
He has never.
Well,
clearly-
the person that enters an online contest, it's easy to win.
Ras has
Those
never won on
online
The Price is Right,
contests.
though.
It's a
That's true. That's true. We'll let that one sit there for a minute.
Yeah, let's just
Obviously,
leave it
I put these together pretty quickly, and they weren't very funny. So, but they probably
I liked
did better. They probably landed better than John's turnover joke. So I'll take it.
It was all great. Everything that you guys all did tonight and all contributed was fantastic, top notch, and that's what makes us the #1 rated podcast on iTunes that talks about amateur sports and beer and has 2 guys from Chicago and a couple from New Jersey.
That's right.
Boys, Sean, you're done with this. You're done with college football awards.
Yeah, that was a flop.
No, I don't think it was a flop. I thought it was good. I just wanted to confirm that we were moving on because
I'm supposed to say that off air, Sean.
I'm
I
a
thought it
terror.
was very good.
Yeah.
I was gonna text you. I was gonna text him after the show. That was great.
Yes. You know what was really great tonight, Sean? The college football awards. You crushed it. Anything else, guys? I want to just go around the panel real quick. I have nothing else to add. I think I'm finished. We did 50 minutes tonight, a little bit, like I said earlier, of a truncated version of the show, but that's because we just don't have the gift and the flow of one Mr. Jeff Coviello to kind of guide us in and out. So I thought we did a good job, but any closing remarks? Johnny, let's start with you. We'll go John, Sean, and Paul.
All right, Cowboys clinch the playoffs. The last game of the season is meaningless, and Tony Romo starts the game, plays great, and is the starter in their after the bye, in the second round of the playoffs. Tony Romo.
I love
You
it.
heard it here first.
Yeah,
You heard it here first. I would say I actually have a question that I would like to pose, and how critical is this Lions-Giants matchup? We didn't get to it earlier, but
No, we didn't.
it was something we should probably talk about. Just knowing that's a big one here this coming week.
What's Stafford's status?
He's playing.
Yeah, I know he's playing, but what do you guys think with that? What is it? Thumb?
I think it's his middle finger. or
Middle
index.
finger? One of the. What do you guys?
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy. He's played with that dislocated shoulder. He's the type of guy that you can't, he'd play under any circumstances, and he'd probably play pretty well.
Do you see it slowing him down at all to the point? I mean, that Giants defense we've discussed is good.
I think the Giants could win regardless with the way that defense. I agree with you the way that defense. I don't think the Lions are very good.
I don't either, but how crazy is it that they're behind? They trail in every fourth quarter, and they've won all those games. I think it's crazy to keep going back to the well like that. So I agree with you. I think they're just luck broke their way a couple times, and they have a couple more wins than they should. And if they played this in another year, it would go the reverse way. So I do think the Giants can win. I think the Giants should win.
In Detroit, they lose, and since it's in New York, they win.
And then follow-up question real quick. So the Lions then go to the Cowboys. The Cowboys have Buccaneers, Lions, Eagles. If the Cowboys lose 2 out of those 3, I believe Giants have home field. What's the chances of that happening?
What's the schedule again?
For the Cowboys, they have Bucks,
Yeah.
Lions, Eagles. They're home for Bucks and Lions.
I think they can win one of the Bucks and Lions, and I think they definitely beat the Eagles if they need to. In a this game, we need to win because we need to lock up home field in the playoffs. I think they win that game, no contest.
So Giants, no chance at locking up the.
I mean, no chance, not no chance, but I'll give them an under 25% chance of locking up the division.
Yeah,
Wow.
and if the Giants are probably most likely going to make the playoffs, they're probably going to be playing the Falcons at home. Or the Falcons in Atlanta. That would be a tough matchup. And if it's not the Falcons, then they're going to be playing Seattle in Seattle. I mean, the Giants really need that bye.
I'd be way more scared of Seattle in Seattle than I would
yeah.
be the Falcons. I think the Giants can stomp them too. But yeah, either way, you're right. It's so important to get home field.
All right, that's all I got, man.
All right, okay. Paul, close it out for us. You got anything?
Yeah, I got nothing else good. Did you guys see Pac-Man Jones talking about Terrell Pryor after the game?
Garbage.
Garbage. Yeah, I don't know what Pryor said during the game, but reporter was trying to ask Pac-Man a bunch of questions, and he just replied, "Garbage. Terrell Pryor, garbage." He found a garbage can and said to look in there to see if Terrell Pryor was in there. It was one of the best interviews of the season. If you haven't seen it, you can probably find it all over the internet.
He's the second guy.
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Why is Pryor a target?
Thank you. Taking the words out of my mouth. Thank you.
Apparently, he talks a lot of shit. Pac-Man didn't like it, so I mean, they shut him down. He had 1 catch for 4 yards. So
Is he like
if anyone had him in fantasy, you got screwed. So
Probably Brett.
No, I did not. My season
Ended?
hinged on it hinged on the Ravens defense putting up 11 points last night against the Pats, and at halftime they had put up 9 points. So I started to look good, and then the second half happened, and I'm out. So it wasn't. I wasn't one of those players that got killed by Carlos Hyde either. So I felt good about that. All right, boys, we're done. I got nothing.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to the Turn 2 podcast. As always, we appreciate, especially all you people on the West Coast. I don't know where you guys came from, but we got like a bunch of downloads from California last week. I thought that was pretty cool. Sean, I don't know if you told Snoop and he told his boys. I don't know.
At least 11 of those people were Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, so which is good because I think that gives us big exposure. So anyway, we appreciate you can find us on iTunes at Turn 2 Podcasts. You can search us there. All the major social media handles. We got Facebooks, we got Twitters, we got Snapchats, we got Instagrams. We might not use them all the time, but we got them. Turn 2 Podcasts. You can check us out. Thanks for listening. Hopefully next week we'll have our star returning in Jeff, and we look forward to talking to you in 7 days.
To be clear, our star is not Yampo.
No.
Hey guys,
right.
I heard that Sean was contacted off the California Views by a modeling agency.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's
No?
my Bob
Is there
Barker
any truth
connection.
to
Yeah, did you get no calls, Sean? Nobody called though?
No, it was my Bob Barker connections.
Okay. We'll save that story. We got to tell that one. Maybe we'll do it next week.
Maybe.
That sounds good. All right, guys, take it easy.
See you.
Let's see how
Later.
we turn this off. All right, see ya.